The 2016 NBA Finals was a battle for the ages. Two rivals at center court, locked in an unforgiving war. This was more than a championship. It was a defining moment in basketball history. The kind that fuels the love of the game for stars like LeBron James, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and Kyrie Irving. Because in the end, it wasn't just about winning or losing. It was about redemption and history rewritten. This is the greatest story ever told in Cleveland. Fueled by a relentless hunger, James and the Cavs entered the matchup with a chip on their shoulders. They crushed the Washington Wizards, ended the reign of the Detroit Pistons and the Chicago Bulls, crushed and cleared the Indiana Pacers and the Boston Celtics, with no exceptions to the Atlanta Hawks and Kevin Durant, Oklahoma City Thunder. So many game nights, the Cavs walked triumphantly out of arenas with the opposition often feeling so helpless. Their dominance was undeniable as they made the other team's roster, game plans, and mid-season trades reduced to meaningless gestures. They were always better, and the losers just had to deal with the reality of swallowing that jagged pill. Being on the other side of that helpless feeling is just no fun. No fun at all. On the flip side, the Warriors have perfected the pace and space style that's taken over the modern NBA. They've taken this style to another level. They shoot threes more and at a better rate than any team has ever done in history. No surprises here, the Cavs ruled the East. Warriors owned the West. Both teams were set for an epic showdown. The first game with the Cavs, Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson made all the timely shots and all the difference for the defending champions. No mercy, no exceptions. The Splash Brothers came up big as they dismantled the Cavs to a 104-89 loss. Golden State didn't just win Game 1, they sent a message. As Game 2 unfolded, that message only grew louder. We see Draymond Green flexing his bulging biceps with big plays on both ends of the floor. He didn't just show off, he backed it up with a dominant performance of 28 points with 5 3-pointers, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists, while MVP Stephen Curry scored 18 points despite foul trouble. Golden State thoroughly overwhelmed Cleveland to a 110-77 win. The 33-point win was the Warriors' most lopsided in finals game, and they've won the first 2 games by 48 points. The Warriors had set the pace. Their shooting was too lethal for Cleveland to match. At that point, the repeat title Golden State had spoken of since the very start is suddenly 2 wins from reality. But would the Cavs dare to stand by and watch history repeat itself, surrendering to defeat twice in a row? Game 3 was something of a reversal from last season. The Cavs opened with a 20-point lead in the first quarter. The Warriors, somewhat stubborn, stayed big with Andrew Bogut at center, but they couldn't keep up. Fueled by the roar of a desperate city, James stood tall with 32 points and 11 rebounds. Kyrie Irving added 30 points, and Cleveland, on their home floor, rattled the Warriors to a 120-90 loss. But despite the impressive win, the Cavs couldn't continue their momentum. They went cold in the fourth. The Warriors had been humbled, but champions don't stay down for long. Stephen Curry got back to dropping deep shots. His 7 threes rained down like daggers, while Klay Thompson drained 4s. Just like that, the Warriors took a commanding 3-1 lead in the series. Golden State were set to become the 7th franchise to win consecutive titles with 1 win to go in Game 5. In Game 5, LeBron James cut through Golden State's defense and made layups look easy. Dunks and 3-pointers? So smooth too. Kyrie Irving also completely had his way with the Warriors. Together, they overpowered the defending champions from every spot. But as the game wore on, the Splash Brothers shot air balls and clanked 3-point shots off the front rim. Yet, the Warriors failed to get a hand in the face of Cleveland shooters. The unflappable, determined as ever James had 41 points, 16 rebounds, and 7 assists. Irving also scored 41 points. James and Irving became the first teammates to score at least 40 points each in an NBA Finals. At the end of the game, the Golden State Warriors ended up quaffing something more bitter, a 112-97 loss. The Warriors lacked Draymond Green, which makes this performance somewhat explainable, but not exactly excusable either. With the series returning to Cleveland, the pressure started to shift towards the Warriors as they looked to avoid being the first team in NBA Finals history to blow a 3-1 series lead. Their backs were pushed deeper into the ropes when starting center Andrew Bogut was diagnosed with a left knee injury, which sidelined him for the remainder of the finals. The defending champions, who powered their way to 73 wins, never imagined being in this spot. Green returned from suspension to give the Warriors a lift in Game 6, but it wasn't enough as the Cavs stormed out to a 20-point lead in the first quarter and held on to the lead throughout the game. The Warriors closed the gap in the fourth, but it wasn't enough to stop the series from concluding with the best two words in sports: Game 7. James was one win away from cementing his legacy and ending Cleveland's 52-year championship drought. But for the Warriors, a golden year is suddenly stained. For LeBron, it was championship or bust. He'd spent the past 2 seasons lugging his city's championship dreams like a bag of rocks. The weight had only grown more cumbersome. The weight of history, of disappointment, of missed opportunities was all on his sturdy shoulders. Till date, several team members were struck by the depth of LeBron's emotion, how badly he wanted it now that his dream was so close, and the strength of his belief that they could do it. Game 7. The crowd stood from the opening minutes after James batted an attempted layup by Curry into an expensive row of courtside seats. In the blink of an eye, the game rallied into the third quarter. Here, the Cavaliers sensed a chance to run, so they rushed to score before Golden State's switch-everything defense could set. On the flip side, the Warriors were so much more a jump-shooting team. They played ferocious defense and went stop for stop with the Cavs. But on offense, they couldn't muster a secondary weapon beyond their historic long-range shooting. Every pass, every shot, every desperate attempt was denied. Neither team could find any separation, at least not until James and Irving emerged in the closing moments, when it mattered most, the 4:39 mark. The scoreboard remained frozen in time. With 69 seconds remaining, the Cavs came out of a timeout to get the ball into the hands of Kyrie Irving. They did just that, using a pick and roll with J.R. Smith to get Steph to switch defensively onto Irving in place of Klay Thompson. With the shot clock ticking away, Irving was unable to find a path past Curry. Left with no choice, Irving moved to his favorite spot, the right wing. This is where he made a subtle but important move. Curry was caught for the briefest second on his heels. He loaded to go backward. That few inches of airspace allowed Irving to get the shot off cleanly over Curry's otherwise strong contest. After Irving put the Cavs ahead by 3, the Warriors responded with the exact matchup they wanted: Curry. It was a nifty piece of work that required 2 screens. First, Iguodala, who was being guarded by Love, screened James, who was guarding Green, to force a switch. Then, Green screened Irving to get Love onto Curry. Love forced Curry to give up the ball to Green, nearly turning it over, which hoisted up an off-balance three-pointer that nearly went in. It was that moment when reality finally sunk in at Oracle Arena. This time, the Warriors would not be pulling off another great escape. It felt fated that Curry and the Warriors would come back to win. Before a dazed and defeated crowd, the Cavs delivered on the grandest stage, leading Cleveland with a 93-89 victory over the Golden State Warriors. But people still wonder, was Cleveland's championship drought over because of Draymond Green's swipe at LeBron's groin? Or maybe, if Kyrie Irving had not been injured in last year's finals, would the Cavaliers be back-to-back champions right now, with Stephen Curry and company still seeking their first banner? In these parts, many will decry James for his role in instigating the suspension. But let's say James did indeed concoct this because he wanted to play a momentarily weaker opponent. So what? That's gamesmanship. If he intentionally did this, it was a smart play at a desperate time and an illustration of how a winner gets past his foe. Ultimately, history respects the scoreboard more than anything else. And the Warriors, they'll carry that pain for the rest of their careers, which set the stage for a brutal comeback in the 2017 NBA Finals.